Hey, welcome back everyone. It is now July 19th of 2022, and as we get closer to the month of August, that's going to be the very month in which Disney and Lucasfilm are going to begin marketing for the Andor series, and then the Bad Batch Season 2, followed by Tales of the Jedi as well. This is Mike Zero. Make sure to subscribe if you are new to the channel for future Star Wars updates. Also, by the way guys, make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel. I thank you all so very much for the kind support. It is greatly appreciated. Now, one thing about the new Star Wars universe is that yes, we do have a lot of things happening at the same exact time between both Kathleen Kennedy and the Disney executives, and exactly what's going on behind the scenes with Kathleen Kennedy and her struggles with the Acolyte TV show. Now, we already know that she's involved on a creative scale with only 2 Star Wars TV shows, that of course being the Acolyte and Skeleton Crew, so just be aware about that. We also have a lot of other things that John, George, and Dave are working on that are about to be announced as soon as D23 and Disney Plus Day, so those 2 big events are going to have a lot of announcements for us. Now, with that being said, on top of all of this, we already know that everything related to the Acolyte TV show so far has not been sounding all that great, to be honest with everybody. Now, there's been a lot of things that Kathleen Kennedy has been taking advantage of, given the fact that she has creative power by contract over the Acolyte series. She's moving away from the vision of George Lucas, basically moving away from the philosophy of George Lucas and taking that away from the fans. Now, moving on top of all of this, we already know that everything related to Leslie Headland is that she's really not all that big of a Star Wars fan. She herself even admitted this, which we'll go over that a little bit later, and given that she is the main writer of the series, that really is quite worrisome, that we don't really have a real Star Wars fan on board. You know, it's kind of like the whole Joby Harold situation of how he admitted that he never really watched Revenge of the Sith thoroughly. So, on top of this, with Kathleen Kennedy currently focused on her 2 Star Wars shows, The Acolyte and Skeleton Crew, Disney executives have recently been getting into tons of drama and arguments with Kathleen Kennedy's direction to the Acolyte TV show, and what she wants to do, and how this has led to yet another ultimatum that's been given by Disney to Kathleen Kennedy. The main issue of what's going on here behind the scenes involves Kathleen Kennedy wanting to completely change the characters of both Darth Revan and Darth Nihilus in the Acolyte series in the form of flashbacks. Now, these are 2 very popular Sith Lords before Disney took over Star Wars Legends, that Kathleen Kennedy now wants to completely redesign and change. Disney executives are now stepping in and giving Kathleen Kennedy a big ultimatum that if she goes through with making these design changes to these characters like Revan and Nihilus, that they are going to have the power to override the show, as they hold beliefs that this would cause great damage to the Star Wars brand, which would give executives power over Kathleen Kennedy's contract, having full creative power over the series. Now, with filming actually planned to begin by this November, many of the characters and their story are still being written by Leslie Headland, with Kathleen Kennedy and Leslie Headland actually now warned by Disney executives. It's unclear what choice they will make with both Revan and Nihilus, who are both very powerful Sith Lords from the Old Republic era. Now, as of now, Kathleen Kennedy is set to hold another meeting with Disney executives that will take place in early August, that would mark around 3 months before they plan to begin filming the Acolyte TV series. Now, before I get to the next thing here that's very important is that the fact that Kathleen Kennedy has the nerve to even consider redesigning the characters of Revan and Nihilus and changing the characters' backstories, I don't know if she's doing this on purpose or if she's really out of touch with Star Wars to that degree, but this would be a very bad decision, a very terrible decision on her part. And I'm glad that the executives are really giving Kathleen Kennedy a lot of backlash over this, and how they are stepping in finally and they are giving her this ultimatum that if she does this, that a lot of changes are going to come her way for the Acolyte series, and how they're going to be able to have more creative power over all of that. By contract, if something were to pose a great threat against the actual show, gaining any kind of revenue or anything like that, that allows the executives to come on board and take control of the situation. And this is probably the biggest evidence for them, because they know Alright, they have a lot of Lucasfilm, consultants and a lot of Lucasfilm spokespeople being involved with all of this stuff, and we already know that Revan and Nihilus are probably the two biggest Sith Lords apart from Bane and Malgus in the Star Wars Old Republic timeline, and they are very well aware that George, John, and Dave, given that they are bringing the Old Republic in live-action form and taking care of those characters as well, if Kathleen Kennedy does this, it would create massive changes in the Star Wars canon and lore, and inconsistencies within the lore if Kathleen Kennedy has her versions of Revan and Nihilus, and then Favreau and Filoni, as well as Lucas, have their own versions as well. So, moving forward from all of this is where things begin to actually escalate, is that, on top of that, Leslie Headland, alright, at no surprise, the writer of the series, recently said in an interview about the show, "I have never really seen the prequels from start to finish, so becoming a part of this brand is something very new to me. Myself and Kathy have been discussing this for a very long time on what changes we can make toward the prequels and other Star Wars lore in this show. This is another thing that Kennedy and Leslie are aiming for, is to create retcons against the prequels, something that Disney executives are very worried about with the new Star Wars show." Kennedy also recently said in an interview about the show, stating the following: "To us, it's about shifting away from George's vision and writing something on a blank canvas that is going to bring this franchise to a new world and creating new fans." The Disney executives giving Kathleen Kennedy backlash to her also involved the fact that she wants to ignore the established Star Wars fans in order to focus on creating new ones, is why Disney fears that this series will be a complete flop on their end. So far, it is looking like part of this will work in Disney's favor of saving the Revan and Nihilus storyline from getting changed drastically by Kathleen Kennedy, thankfully. Now, here's another thing that I really have to add in here, is that everything related to Disney Star Wars, is that what they're ultimately trying to achieve now is that they want to make sure that Favreau and Filoni can create a consistent, positive flow of Star Wars TV shows. And what I mean by that is, they want to have this constant flow of shows that are big hits to prove to the fans that things truly are turning around for Star Wars, and that it's not going to be like hit and miss, like you're playing Battleship here. It's not going to be like that. They want to make sure that they are hitting the mark each and every time with these Star Wars shows, and where it's not going to go downhill. Unfortunately, the Acolyte show is going to look like it's going to be one of those prime examples that it's just not going to work well with the hardcore fans, or even some of the casual fans out there, because Kathleen Kennedy's aim is to actually create new fans strictly, and if she's going to go through with making these Revan and Nihilus changes, it's not going to work out well for her. It's going to create a lot of problems, and a lot of fans are just going to have a lot of issues with that, and that's when the executives, thankfully, are going to be able to step in and make said changes for the Acolyte series. So, overall, given that everything that has happened with the Kenobi show because of what Kathleen Kennedy did, this show does not look promising in the least so far. Again, I can't judge it completely because, let's be real, there's no footage yet available. So overall, guys, drop a comment below. Let me know what you guys have to say about this below in the comments. And if you guys did enjoy the content for today, make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel. I thank you all so very much for the kind support, and I'll catch you guys next time.
From night to morning.